The deepest wounding is when we are separated from source. Separating from source is when we live in that field of conditioning, and that's when we really fall from grace. Falling from grace is not remembering, our divine self.
Yes.
And that's why they're crying out in the book.
Welcome to our show. You know what? I have a return champion, Radavie Riom, with us. She has this amazing book, and I want her to talk more about her book and also, more about her divine sparks. How are you, Radavie?
Oh, hi, Sunny. I'm always happy to be here with you, sincerely.
Yeah, I met Radavie, I think over 2 years now, but I think the first time I just said, this lady's so unique. I don't even know what, but I just need to talk to her more.
Oh,
And let me quickly introduce Radavie. I believe it's a quotation from your book. You said, "You are not a wounded child. You are consciousness, the divine spark. There is an expanded state of inner peace when you realize that thoughts and beliefs from conditioning are all illusions." Radavie has been recognized as a servant of inner peace and the emissary of messages from the divine spark, the essence of our soul. Her childhood wound has been a blessing, allowing her to empathize deeply with the human condition's tribulations. As an international best-selling book author for the book, Awaken to Inner Peace in the Midst of Chaos, Free Yourself from Human Conditioning. Radavie is here to honor her soul's agreements. Wow. I thank you so much, Radavie, for taking that mission.
through my own experience, when our soul come on this planet, we have no idea why, because everything is gone and we're sitting here. And I want to take people back. You're here in your essence, all right? You remember the time before language, before you learned language? There you were. You were already a divine spark. You were a spark of God, source, divine, whatever word you want to use. And then conditioning happens.
Yep.
Not because they deliberately wanted to move us out of our essence, but they too were already conditioned. And yet they want to teach us the third dimensional physical world. We are multidimensional when we came in. The only thing we saw was ourselves. I mean, you connect with everything. Someone may say, "Oh, when I'm crying and I'm hungry, don't you think I know I'm hungry?" I said, "No, you don't. There's a sensation that we respond to, but we don't know that we're hungry. Something is going on in there." So anyway, we all came in with an agreement, but we don't know that. So my agreement took me exactly into what my early ages of childhood. So it was painful. It is wounding. And even if I had remembered that, it would have been a very painful, wounding experiences. So what did I do? I walked away from all of that. That's when I was a little girl. I'm not me anymore. But our soul has an agreement. And I'm saying that to the audience too. It doesn't matter what you do, your soul has an agreement that you had forgotten. And
Yes.
you have to come back to face it.
Yeah, the sooner the better, right? And don't wait until last
I
moment.
know.
Yeah.
So I know. So I had to face it. And it's during the time when I was going through my self healing, I knew that I was here to break the code of the human conditioning. I very rarely ever said that, but now I say that. It sounded like, who the hell are you? To break the code of the human conditioning. Mine was to go to the psychological, emotional healing. But I was leaving them as a better person. Soul said, no, you need to go further. There's more. So the rest of it was when I had the vision of this little boy with the golden key above his head, and he said, we are here to help the adults. But first, they have to take us out of confinement. And I knew exactly what he was talking about because I'd been working for over 30 years with the wounded child. And then I started to get the messages. And they were teaching me. They said, we are not wounded children. We are divine sparks. Never heard the word before.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so the messages continued, and they were very heartfelt messages, and they wanted humanity to know. And that's where I became that really devoted messenger for the messages. And so that's where the book was born.
Yeah.
And it has everything that I have experienced as a conditioned person, the programs that was set there. And how many of us, I can say, have been going through a program and they probably didn't realize it?
We just didn't know what we don't know, right? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a different level of the awareness. We're not there yet, but someone like you and other people start to share the same message.
yeah.
We actually begin to see more and more. We are really in this sophisticated computer simulation kind of a game system. Maybe we don't feel comfortable to call it game, feel like we are not serious. But life cannot be too serious. When we become too serious, we only see things in one definition.
Absolutely. And
That's
let
the
me tell you,
game.
Sonny, that's absolutely true because when I was a little girl, I was withdrawn and closed down, and I never felt happy. I was sad, and I knew I felt it in here. Now I smile at every simple thing. I revived my little innocence.
Yes,
So coming
yes.
back to being living from the program self,
Mm.
we're looking for peace and happiness. We want to be happy because the mind is so confronting, and we start to judge ourselves from our lack of. We are the ones who judge ourselves more than anything else. I'm not good enough. I'm not beautiful. I'm not smart enough because we're comparing ourselves with other people. I have doubt and all of that. Through the book, one goes through and really recognize, okay, there's something here. I've been looking for happiness and peace outside there. And after a while, I know I'm not going to find it because I can be happy for a moment and I think, oh, wow, the world is, I'm on top of the world. And the next minute, something else happens. The happiness goes away. It doesn't last. So when I say I'm Radavie Inner Peace Guide, I say that because I know. I know what it's like to have not felt peace. With the book, which I'll just show here, and the messages are in the book. And I'm not going to say it's the only book, but this book will really take you through so you can understand what your conditioning did. And I have cited my experiences and clients' experiences. And then it comes into with the messages in between. One is really getting it. So this is what they say that relates to what was just written. And then there is the practices.
I was trained as a scientist. I understand equation, I understand graph, all that, but I don't feel like connected. I mean, I know how to explain the data, but when you listen to a story, particularly this transformative story from A to B, the suffering, and now they are not despite their choice, and it really gives us power to know everybody can do it. This really help a lot of people in the dark of the tunnel. It's like this never ends. It's like I'm never going to be happy or I'm whatever that suffering we label it. But it's just like you say, it's the beliefs and the thoughts, right? Once you
Yes.
recognize that's just our definitions, then they're just no longer there because this is just our imagination. Is
I
that
know.
right?
And the thing is, the greatest abundance that we can get in this lifetime or any lifetime on this planet
Yes.
is to live as your divine self,
Yeah.
nothing else. Sorry, everybody think it's not about money, it's about abundance in another form.
Yes.
And and when we do,
Mm.
money can follow it too. Because
Yeah.
when you're aligned with your connection, with your agreement, it, it's coming from your intuition, your inner guidance.
Most of us, we do need to go through a self-discovery.
Oh
And then
yes.
also we need someone like you or other oldest light worker to redefine what we felt, right? The mind said, oh, you're depressed, but not necessary, right? You just feel you're contracted in that moment. But if you
And
start to
yeah,
label, oh, I'm depressed, then you start to look antidepressants or whatever thing can kill depression. And you get situation worse because you start to think that is the true problem other
that's
than
right.
think that's just energy flows through you, you have contracted. And later on they go is, hey, I don't even need to do anything. I just need to relax. When they come in, we just let it be. But it's
And
not ever like we do need guidance because not everybody can go to that stage until they decided or they see someone or they read the books and understand
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
normal process. So that's so important. You share all this wisdom with us.
Yeah, and it's because I had to go through my 2x4 knocks. I had to learn that the hard way. But experience is one of the greatest teachers.
Mm.
That's where we gain wisdom from, as you know, Sonny. And so those people who are contracted, the world is on fire with confusion and chaos. And that's when I said it it starts with one person to make a difference. Don't worry about, oh, when is the world going to come together? When is the world going to be at peace? Not going to happen. You start within you first.
Mm.
And people would be surprised how when they do that, their vibration, the frequency around them, people see it. People, and then someone said, something has happened to you. You've really changed. What happened? And they will pass it on. So
Mhm.
it always starts with us. And another thing I'd say to people who are really going through this contracted, unhappy state, go to my website. I offer 20-minute complimentary guidance.
Mhm.
Take it. It's free. It's free because my heart wants to be of service.
Sometimes I can see myself when I was unhappy for 30 years, always just low vibration, and you think about something wrong, and I attract more of that low vibration
Oh,
experience.
absolutely.
Everybody say you are abundance, and I say that's just a myth. That's just for you to make money. I don't believe you. It's all the negative judgments right there. But it's 30 years good enough to experience that. And one day I'm just like
Long
wake
enough.
up. I just wake up and say, why today feel a bit different? There's nothing I can complain about.
Oh,
It just
I
happened
know.
like that. It's just like,
Because yeah,
and my negativity still think about something wrong with me. Something must be wrong because this is brand new experience, right? But take me a month to figure out I'm okay with, I can just be happy for no reason. But really, we get used to be a certain vibration. And once
yeah,
we change it, we feel very uncomfortable. That's the maturity in a way, at least for my program, my agreement, I think, is just take that long. But not everybody need to wait, right? To the end of it, say, oh, I have to wait for that aha moment. No, just like you said, every time you can choose something, bring your
make a choice.
peace,
Make a
right?
choice.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we first met, I used to think I'm the opposite of you. You're scientific minded, and I am the one who is this indigenous spiritual person. And yet it's so beautiful. And yet we followed each other. And now here we are coming together talking about the same darn thing. Inner
Yeah.
peace. Inner
Mhm.
peace. Gratitude for life.
Yeah, exactly. And you're, talk about those conditioning. I'm into human design system. That whole system actually is teaching us to see how easy we can be conditioned. So
Oh
it's
God,
not to
yes.
judge people, say, well, you choose to be conditioned. No, we don't choose
No,
it. This is just
no,
the
no,
playground for us
no.
to experience the conditioning. But we will get to the point because we know what we want after going to contrast, then we can make a better choice from that point on. So it's necessary, right? Right.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And and one of the things too about the conditioning, when we see the contrast, we can say, you know what, I don't want that anymore. The contrast really helps support one to make a real clear, definite choice. As Christ says, the mind is the mind consciousness, and then there is the divine consciousness.
Hmm.
So everything is consciousness, but on what frequency are you on?
Mm.
And and he says, the mind has the value, the egoic part has its value because you have to make decisions at time. You use your intelligence.
Yeah.
And I know when when I'm just in my spirit, I'm in a whole different world. This is not the same. I need to have the mind and body. I need to have the mind and my heart
Mm.
united. And
Yeah.
that's what we all need to do.
Exactly. Yeah, because based on science, again, now we owe more and more information knowing the heart-brain coherence, because the heart really connect to universe. But our mind, because we get used to listen to our mind and give them the wrong job to do, let them make the decision, but the mind cannot make a really sound decision. They only analyze things. So we stress out our mind, or one day they don't feel happy. Just like you say, if we allow them to talk to each other, become coherent, then the heart is no judgments. So then we can save a lot of energy about self-abusing energy, because we don't need to do that anymore, right? We can using our mind the right way to help us make
Absolutely.
great choices.
Yes,
Yes.
because the thought in the mind has changed once you begin to change. So, what
Mhm.
does the keys say about the heart? The keys,
The gene keys really,
gene
they
keys.
really not talking body mechanics. It's more like the body graph of the human design system. But the keys in that G center in the body graph is all related to love. So whenever you really allow your heart to open, you trust, you allow things to go through, and you don't hold on the attachments, then the G center actually open up for your direction. So you know where to go. You have synchronicity just open the door for you. That's the beauty of the body mechanics. Once you know how it works, and you can start to align or tune out and clean up. So you don't need to fix, you just need to actually tuning and
That's right. That's right.
arranged.
That's
Yeah, and
right.
then they will be aligned with you, the divine spark, because we have everything inside. We block it by our negativity, false belief, past memory, or ancestor imprinting. They are all in the genetic level. Now we got more and more evidence knowing the DNA is not just to define who we are, it's the quantum field.
That's right.
It's outside
That's
the
right.
field. So then
That's
no
right.
wonder everybody has some kind of negativity with trapped in the field. Then our DNA will respond to that quantum frequency and turn the genes on and off. So scientists really just look for all the clues on the molecular level. I was one of them. It is confusing. It's like, how come, for example, a heart transplant receiver will remember the donor's stuff, the food
That's
they
right.
like to eat, the music they like to listen? It didn't make sense, right? But it's because the field that come with the DNA, the cells, the cellular memories, we call it, they come with the organ. Then so the receiver will just experience that, and they will have this chemistry, biology, really just tuning to that field. That is easy for us to understand, for people to understand energy, right? But for scientists, like decades, they are trying to figure out clues of what's going on, because they don't want to go that level,
They
right?
don't go to
The quantum level, yes.
the dimensions. My understanding is that the divine heart is in the quantum field.
Yeah,
It's
because
not
the
in
vibration is
the
all
body.
connected. Yes.
And the divine spark clearly say we're in the divine heart.
Mm.
So the spark, our essence, our soul essence, is not in the body. Our body
The,
in
yes.
that space consciousness. It's
Exactly. Yeah. Our body
yeah.
just like computer. We need computer to receive information and process so we can speak out what we experience. But it's really just a computer function. Yeah.
Right. And I want to use a little reference point to say right now you and I are looking at this through the screen.
Yes.
So the computer has a screen, and without the screen, nothing is going to work. I don't care what program you have in there. But here is what it is. I
Mm.
want people to see that the screen is like your spark.
Mm.
It does nothing but allows you to be aware.
Mm.
But what happens is when we have awareness about all the crazy things going on in the world, we are becoming what we see on the screen and have left the screen, which is the essence of our being. And yet, when we stop and close the thoughts and just open up to see to say what is this, it's the spark of our soul, the essence of our soul is allowing awareness to be. So the screen is the soul, Emmanuel's soul, the aware that opens up to the awareness, and you see. Otherwise,
You see
there
in the
wouldn't be
dark,
anything.
yeah. That's
There
why
wouldn't
we
be
are
anything.
on the beginning is all in the
Yeah,
shadow, right? We
yeah.
don't see anything. So we need like divine spark here a little bit, here
Right,
a little bit, right? So
right,
we can
right.
try to go there and find out what's happening
And,
in that
and
life.
then and then another thing I really want people to know. I know we have been upset by a lot of people. I know that some people can't get over some horrendous things that have happened to them. And I don't expect anyone for me to say to you, oh, forgive, because you have to get to that point of forgiveness. And I really hold that space and have a lot of compassion for you. But in spite of that, I just want you, the listeners, to know that we are sparks from the one flame, from the one flame, all of us. And so those sparks are even those people who have hurt us. So I'm not saying, oh, go get over it. I'm just saying I want you to have another perception of why we are here. We look different, and that Sunny and I now are different. We look different. Although we're part, she's full Chinese, I'm part, but that has nothing to do with,
Yeah,
that has
maybe
nothing to,
with certain imprinting from our ancestors,
that's
but
right.
we are all connected in that field anyway. It's just like we need to
Yes.
open it first and
Yes. So
begin to see.
I'm saying that we're different on the outside.
Hmm.
But there's something in us that can't ever change. Is that spark from the divine. And we all have it, even those people who have hurt people. When we really understand that, we can have compassion for the ignorance and the ignorant.
Yeah, based on the Gene Keys author Richard Roth said, a lot of problem right now we talk about actually is too much indifference. So when we don't care, we don't feel compassion, we don't really go out to solve the problem, we're just patching the problem. Because like if I don't have problem, I'm okay with it. So I can donate
I
money, I
know.
can do things for other
I
people to solve the problem. But
we're in
that
separation.
indifference, yeah, the
Yes.
indifference is really causing more of the segregation because like you don't feel the pain, but actually it's not you don't feel the pain, you choose to deny the pain. You choose not to see or not to relate to that pain.
And
Right.
sometimes that's how people survive, their survival instinct. But like your show here, Sunny, that is opening up a portal for people who are listening to hear something else, to become aware of something else. And they can always, you're planting big seeds, and they sit back and said, all right, let me look at that. I never heard that before, perhaps. What the heck is she talking about? And you take it in, and believe me, that seed could start to germinate.
Exactly. The right environment, the allowance, patience, and gentleness. Like we all have it, just like you said, we have all the divine spark. It's dormant. It's not there because the environment is not right. But the environment is inner environment. So if you only
That's
care
right.
about, the pollution, the water, and all that, that's part of the environment. But you know what? Our belief and thought can change the inner environment. So we don't even
Absolutely.
need to depend on perfect environment outside. We can start from inside and we change the outside when we start to look inside.
Absolutely
Right.
true.
Mm-hmm.
True, true. And some people who are doing coaching, things like that, looking for clients, sometimes they really reach out from the pain point. But how about, starting to say, you are this and you are this person, yet somewhere along the way, this could be happening to you. What a much more beautiful approach.
We already know the pain points, right? That's how we seeking out for coaching.
Really
Yeah, they got
making
more things let you feel
you've
even
got
more fear. So, oh, if I don't solve that, if I don't hire you, then something even worse will happen. So yes, let me pay you. Well, I mean, this is the outdated way, I believe, to see more and more of the more conscious coach or the hot service person. They start to understand they're not the coach. They're really just the guide on the side. Right. So just
absolutely,
like you talk about, you
yes.
write a book, they read a story, they spark, oh, why not? Then that is the purpose for a book, for a conversation, right? They are all masters. We all, just like you said, we all has this little fractal of the divine sparks.
Oh,
Uh, the
yes.
only thing you need to just like give them a little starter and they light up themselves and they influence anybody around them. Just like you say, oh, you look different. And they will want to know what happened to you. And they will have a conversation with their friend and family in a way really organically, not I have to get a degree, I'm expert for something. But the result always show. You don't need to tell people what exactly going on. Oh, my DNA gene A got activated, or I have the number going that. I
Oh,
mean,
number
who,
25.
yeah, who can, if you're really happy, you are just living your true self.
Oh, that's everybody.
Everybody would love to know how to do it. You need to let go. You need to trust yourself. We need maybe have a little fun about different activity or travel, right? You start to experience new thing, and then the right timing, you would just like, wow, it's different person.
Yeah, yeah. But and also in addition to that, Sonny, the planet, there's a lot more light frequencies coming in the planet.
Mm,
And my feeling about it is when there's more light coming,
mm,
it goes into those cracks, and there's a lot of things heating up and coming out. So that's why the world seems to be on fire. It's got to clear before the shift.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
and also the old ways are changing. The way in which we used to do things are changing. And Sonny, yes, as you were saying, more and more people who are in service are coming out more heart based. There's no shame to it now. There's more heart based, and it is very beautiful to see because something in them is changing and it's coming out. So
Yeah.
my book now is a perfect timing for it because there are more people who are really more open to listen and to say, you know what? Yeah, I need to look at this.
Yeah. Seeking is great. The starting point. We do need to have maybe some modalities, how to start and how to
Oh,
build.
absolutely, through your
Mhm.
painful experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, but from there, I think a certain percentage of people will stuck in the seeking mode. So I need the next better tool. I need to hire better coaches,
There's a
right?
guidance. It's
Yes, I
really
mean,
a
in that
guidance.
way, somebody become like attached to the crutches other than really let it go, because that you still associate, still attached to certain thing. And that can be your next level of the suffering, because you think, oh, if I don't learn this and I cannot be peace. But we all know we don't need anything. It's everything there. We just need to trust and relax. So let it shine through, other than, "Oh, I need that thing. Otherwise, I cannot feel happy." Again, that's another level of attachment. So seeking is necessary by through from suffering to seeking, right? And seeking can be a service because you need more of the time for
Oh,
sharing. So for me, it's really the full circle, right? Suffering, seeking, you service, then you just share whatever the message. And that's a beautiful circle for human to experience.
yes.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think that when we truly understand a lot more than our beliefs, there's a humility and a heart opening that comes with that, and less judgment. In addition to that, when
Yeah.
you're judging someone, guess where it came from? In here, I
Mhm.
already feel I have to be feeling what I'm pointing to.
It's that, yeah. Well, that
This,
is how to use the trigger. I'm the habit coach. People don't like trigger, but hey, that's the best tool. Once you know you got a trigger, you create a behavior because you can pause and recognize that trigger. Then you're using a behavior to reaffirm your master. You can choose to not to be triggered. So if
Mhm.
you never have a trigger, you don't know how to improve yourself.
That's right.
So trigger is really our friend, if we
Yeah.
see that way.
Well, yeah, the trigger just clearly says there's something else inside that I need to look at.
More people follow the ancient teaching, because the ancient teaching really all in the quantum level. They don't have a laboratory, they don't have documentary about books, they don't have things to see the chart and graph. They only see the nature and the cause and the effect. Right? When people eat this, something happened. They write it down. So everybody is a scientist by
Yes, true, true,
right,
true.
right. So we can do that same lifestyle to visit ourselves in the midst of chaos in order to find that inner peace. Because you don't have a contrast, there's no way you can find it.
I know if you've always been born in love and peace, there's nothing. I mean, you don't appreciate it as much. You go through
Mm,
the wounding, and
yeah, yeah.
and what's coming to me to say the deepest wounding is when we are separated from source. Separating from source is when we live in that field of conditioning, and
Hmm.
that's when we really fall from grace. Falling from grace is not remembering, our divine self.
Yes,
And
yeah,
that's why they're crying out in the book.
yeah, yeah. Amazing. Radavie, I can see you might have a second book coming pretty soon, a third book, because this is a lot of important message for us to realize. We can
If I get
all,
any more messages, I don't know.
well, maybe you can just become podcaster. You have your own channel. You can just
Oh,
sharing
oh,
stories and those
yeah.
that. That
So,
would be kind of cool.
so I'm going to do an intensive too, and my intensive is to really support the book. I don't want people to hear it. I want people to get it, to understand. So that's why I call it an intensive. It's not a workshop.
Hmm.
And that's what I'm called to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, I can definitely see your wounded experience become a fuel that push you to seek out solutions, and you polish the opportunity,
Right.
you start to open your channel, then you start to know your special mission.
Because, I did that for 30 years. I know
Yeah.
about the pain. I know, and I have the ability to look under, I'd say, I look under the hood. I'm talking to someone and I can feel more than what they're saying.
Yes.
So that is not difficult for me. But I want to take them further than being a better person. I want them to try and go live as their divine self.
Do you want to maybe define in your view what is the true self?
You know, I can look at myself and I find the difference through my own experience.
Mm.
And I remember that used to be in a spiritual group, a group where this teacher was a channel teacher. I just fell in love with her. And we had a group, we had some amazing teachings, but the group, that's why I know the difference between spiritual and your divine self. I wrote it in the book because to me, when I hear the word spiritual, I remember where I used to be spiritual. And many people are spiritual and are still in judgment with other people.
That's a conditioned spiritual.
Oh, absolutely. Coming from the ego. Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a belief. There's a belief. And when you come from your true nature, your whole system has a whole different way of being. You become more patient, allow people to be who they want to be, instead of telling them, oh, you need to change because blah blah blah. No, you see people through compassion and love. And so that's why when people say, oh, you're spiritual, I kind of hesitate because I remember
You don't
how
know
I
their
used to.
definition about spiritual.
I know. I said, okay, so what's your definition of spiritual?
So many people, me included, is different phases when we begin to evolve. We have
Yeah,
new awareness, we're awakening, we have some insight coming. The more I understand is like if I hear the voice or something urge me to do that's based on the fear, which means need to change that, or if you're not doing that, you're not good enough, and those kind of judgmental voice, then I can be sure that it's not from the higher
that's
voice,
right.
right?
That's
Because the
right.
higher
That's
voice
right.
really don't have a judgment. They just love you because we have this free choice. Whatever you choose, they give you the space. So they don't really need to judge you.
No, no,
Stop. No, they don't do
no,
that,
there's no
right?
judgment. There's just love and compassion.
Yeah, so if you fall, they just say, standing up, right? They're there to support us, but they don't want to interfere, right, about our free
We
choice.
have our free will to choose. There's a divine in us.
Yes.
And that's why you go to that divine within you. You
Yeah.
ask in here.
Yeah.
And every question you ask yourself, you have an answer in there.
This is an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed. So what's the best way people find you and connect
They
with
can find me on my website, radavie.net.
you?
And I have an offering there. And it's one of the freedom exploration from my book.
Mm,
And if they go to when they open that, it's right there on the front page. They
sure.
sign up and what the only thing I'm suggesting, because it's like a meditation, but it's really not a meditation. It's really a discovery for them
Mm,
to understand the difference between their light of consciousness, a light of awareness, which is their
mhm.
divine spark, and them.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so, I'm just saying, prepare yourself when you sign up to just, quiet yourself, take a free breath like you're going to meditate and just listen.
Yeah, yeah. And you also mentioned 20 minutes, the first
And the
consult.
20 minutes is right there too. So they
Mm,
have those two giveaways that I'd
yeah,
love them to
yeah.
take.
Well, they're gonna definitely love your presence, your compassions and wisdom,
Oh, thank
flowing to
you.
them, and
Thank you. And
they
then,
know they can do it.
yeah. And then my book is
Uh-huh.
on Amazon.
Yeah, this is an international bestseller, right?
This one, no, it was a bestseller, but I'm part of another book that was international bestseller. It's a lot, and I'm very grateful that I can accept that because there was a time when I didn't accept the messages. But
Mhm.
I didn't think, why me? Why not somebody else?
Well, because you are
You
somebody,
know,
you are everybody.
I know, Sonny, when you look at that,
Mm,
it's really to see where we are during those days
mhm.
and know that at this point I can say it without holding back
Yes.
because I don't have any judgment towards being there.
Mhm, mhm.
And that's what I would love to take to people to see themselves as, to look at where you've been to where you're now and just gratitude for that.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Well, I always ask my guests before they finish the show is
So,
their
yes.
definition about prosperity and any special message you want to share with the audience.
I want to say to your audience, it's just, I'm just going to let it come through me that, you know, you have never been alone because there's a everlasting love. And that is something I experienced once when I was going through my wounded childhood healing. I saw the golden light around me and it said, this everlasting love. And so I want people to know that you, although you may be living in your conditioned self, the essence of your soul has never gone away. It's there. And that is the everlasting love that's always there for you.
Mm,
So that's what I want to leave them with. And
beautiful.
be grateful to yourself every day. Never mind what's happening. Just say, you know what? There's another day that I have a chance to be alive. I have another day that I can make a difference in my life.
That's right.
And that's gratitude. Yeah.
Well, definitely when you're feeling grateful about your existence and the prosperity is the happiness, healthy, younger looking, and smiles and
Oh, yeah.
all the good vibration just easily show up in your life, right?
That's right.
Mm,
That's right. So,
yeah, yeah. Well, Radavie, this is really my honor to have you again as my guest.
so on.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Everybody has amazing storyline. We need to turn that story, the the conditioned story into the heart melt inspirational stories. And I will see you around, Radavie.
Yes, we will. We
Yes.
can't get away from each other, Sonny. No,
You
not
are
going
the
to.
divine spark. I'm Sunny. Hey, what is the best
Oh, there you go.
combination,
There,
right?
yes. You're the sun. And let me tell you, the sun is very powerful.
Yeah, but sometimes overburn. We need to watch out for that too. Too much flare. We have to calm
Oh,
down that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Redavi. I will talk to
Okay.
you later.
Yeah, okay, we'll see each other again soon.
Yes. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
okay. Bye.